Welcome, age of vintage society. Kim Novak evaded spies at some points in her life. Oh no, she didn't avoid communist spies. The actress only evaded the spies Cohn set on her to prevent her from finding love. Who would prevail, the spies or the heart? Why Kim Novak had to hide her interest of love? Make sure to watch the video until the end and leave your thoughts in the comments. If you are new here, join our wonderful community by subscribing to the Age of Vintage channel. Shakespeare put the world in shared anguish when he wrote Romeo and Juliet. Modern readers may scoff and say what Shakespeare wrote wasn't real and couldn't happen in real life. Well, newsflash, Shakespeare was more than realistic in his work, and the sort of drama that happened in Romeo and Juliet has happened in the world before. At least for those of us who were avid moviegoers in the 50s, we had our own Romeo and Juliet. Sure, there were no balcony scenes, but there were secret messages, romance songs, death threats, suicide attempts, and near anarchy. It was a tumultuous period in Tinseltown, and of course, Harry Cohn was at the centre of it all. Remember Cohn, the slimy Columbia boss? He was a mean bastard, and although we give him credit for putting Columbia on the map, he had no honour. Cohn wasn't mean, he was beyond it. He was vicious. The man had more venom than mob bosses. James Bacon, working for the AP, observed Cohn and concluded Cohn was more vicious than any mob boss he had previously observed. Bacon had observed the legendary mob boss Al Capone. The word was he had ordered numerous hits on people that would put most mob bosses to shame. People mess with Cohn, and the next thing they know, or don't know, is that they swam with the fish. Cohn was ruthless, feared, and he loved being feared. He hijacked the control of Columbia Studio from his brother and made enemies along the way. What did it matter to him? To Cohn, enemies meant he had something good going. The man was twisted, and if the way he acted wasn't enough of a pointer, the sort of people he celebrated served as a reinforcement. Harry worshipped Benito Mussolini, the Italian dictator, and kept a photograph of Mussolini on his table. In fact, he modelled his office after Mussolini. He picked the perfect hero because Cohn was a dictator of the worst species. Everything that happened in the studio happened on his whim. He had his employees under his thumb, and he loved controlling everyone. He hired and fired as he pleased, and got a sick kind of pleasure from it. And boy was he vindictive and obsessed with his female stars. You see, Cohn passed off the opportunity to sign Marilyn Monroe, and it haunted him. He didn't see the beauty within, and wasn't wise to the idea of creating his own star. Cohn was obsessed with having his own sex bot for the studio, so when Rita Hayworth came along, he was delighted and invested in constructing her. Rita became his creation, and initially she danced to Cohn's every tune, as the pliant actress that she was. However, she grew in confidence and resisted him. She fell in love and allowed her husband to control when she would film or not. It turned out that when Rita wasn't filming in 1953, it wasn't the studio that suspended her. It seemed Cohn let that narrative fly to remain in control. Rita's husband, Prince Ali Khan, was the one that ordered her not to film. So Cohn plotted vengeance against Hayworth, and his vengeance came in the form of a busty young woman, Marilyn Novak, who would become Kim Novak. To be sure that his new find would eclipse and replace Hayworth, he had her screen tested wearing a revealing dress that Rita Hayworth had worn. Like Hayworth, Kim was a creation of Cohn, and right from the moment he sighted her round bosoms, he had become obsessed with her. His obsession manifested in the total deprivation of Kim Novak's freedom, identity, and life. He wanted to control every aspect of Kim's life. His first creation, Rita, was on a never-ending pursuit of love, despite being Columbia Studios' femme fatale, so Novak was not to have any relationship of any kind. To ensure this, he enrolled her in his studio club. He asked her to lose weight. No, he ordered her to lose weight. Then he brought in experts to transform Kim. She was subjected to different beauty treatments. First, her hair had to go. No, they didn't shave it off. They changed the style and colour to blonde. Cohn changed her clothes, and if that wasn't enough, Harry ensured she was also surveyed regularly. Cohn was in control, but there's one thing about control. Grip it too hard and it begins to slip from your hands. Every bit of the way Kim fought. Few she won, most she lost. Well, she won the battle to keep her name. Cohn wanted to change it to Kim Marlowe, but Novak said no. She chose to keep her surname. In a reaction that warmed the hearts of Harry's many enemies, he screamed, frothing at the mouth, "Nobody's going to go see a girl with a Polack name." She, unnerved by Harry, calmly retorted, "I'm Czech, not Polish. Czech, no matter, it's my name." Then she began to weasel out of the studio club thing. She starred in multiple successful films like Picnic, Five Against the House, Pushover, and 1956's The Eddie Dutchin Story. With her growing fame, it became difficult to keep her at the club, and as soon as she got the freedom to determine her own movements, she came for Cohn, publicly complaining how little Harry paid her. In another delightful moment for Cohn's enemies, he went red in the face with fury. Kim wasn't done. She eventually gave Cohn a heart attack. Yeah, Cohn nearly died, and it wasn't due to the efforts of his enemies. The sexy actress rebelled against the one aspect of her life that the studio fully controlled, her love life. Her choice of a partner caused great controversy, almost buried her career. She fell in love with African-American singer Sammy Davis Jr. It wasn't as if she had any choice. Not many women can resist Davis's suave style and voice serenading them. It was like a scene in a movie on that 1957 Chicago night at Club Chez Paris. Davis Jr. took the stage, wisps of smoke trailing the lit cigarette he had in one hand, as he dazzled the audience with the spotlight casting a powerful glow on him. After his usual performance, he dedicated a song to the delectable Kim Novak, who was caught in Sammy's web and him in hers. But their romance was destined for doom. Still they dared. They braved not just the world, but the mob-styled studio exec, Harry Cohn. Marilyn Pauline Novak, or Kim Novak as she became, was born on February 13, 1933, to Czech parents in Chicago, Illinois. She was an odd child, different from her sister, who received the love and attention of their father. Kim was unspectacular, did poorly at school, and was subjected to bullying. People loved picking on her and mocking her for her inattentive nature in class. Well, she didn't suck at all aspects of school. There was one place where she shone more than any of her classmates: arts. Kim, gifted with her hands, impressed, but her schoolmates were not impressed. They increased the amount of bullying against her. Sometimes she would arrive home dirty and covered in stinky pie. Her parents would wonder what happened to her, and she never pointed out the perpetrators, as she was deathly afraid of them. Apart from her fear, she was shy. Looking back, she might blame her mother for her shyness. When Kim began to grow and hit her teens, she suffered an unfortunate and cruel event. She kept her misfortune to herself. It was as if her mother knew such an event would happen as to protect her daughter. She had her become as unglamorous as possible. This further weakened Novak's perception and confidence in herself. It was the beginning of the worsening of the mental health condition she inherited from her dear old dad. Yes, later in her career, Kim was diagnosed as bipolar, which explained her icy aloofness at times and her absent-minded nature. It is why she couldn't concentrate in class. Despite her issues, she still yearned and craved her father's approval, so when her mother told her to show herself more, she listened and joined staged plays, in which she excelled. Arts and plays were things that gave her ease. It wasn't a surprise that she got not one but 2 scholarships to Art Institute in Chicago. Yup, Novak was that talented. Still, she didn't get the approval she wanted from her dad. It was as if she didn't exist to him. Novak's beauty became apparent, and with her mother's support she joined a girls' club in their neighbourhood. The girls there worked as models, and seeing the suppleness in Kim's beauty, the club supervisor encouraged the delectable Kim to try her hands at modelling. You guessed right, she excelled. Unlike the other jobs she tried, she didn't even stress herself. All she had to do as a model came to her naturally. A modelling job landed her in Hollywood, which was by pure luck. She did a travelling modelling job or a refrigerator business that made stops at each train station. After their final stop, one of the girls suggested that they should go to Hollywood. Novak accepted and got the role of an extra in a movie, The French Line. The talent hunt at Columbia spotted her there and took her to the studio for a screen test. It was with that studio that she graduated from a father who acted as if she wasn't alive to a boss who was over her shoulder every time. Kim yearned to be free, and freedom came from Sammy Davis. The two had a chance meeting at a club in Chicago. Later, Sammy, head over heels for the supple Kim Novak, asked her agent if he could take photographs of the actress. The actress accepted. At this time she was filming Vertigo, and after filming for the day she went to Davis, who took different pictures of her, but one thing was obvious. The whole picture thing was a ruse. Sammy just wanted to hang out with Kim. He didn't know how to handle a camera, because if he did, he would have removed the camera's lens cover. Still, no harm was done. Kim was amused, and knew the extent of what Sammy felt for her. They met again at the after-party of a charity event that Tony Curtis hosted. In fact, Tony invited Kim because of Sammy's interest in her. However, something sick and bizarre happened at the party. Sammy and Novak had been talking so much that the actress lost all sense of awareness about her surroundings at the party. She didn't notice the people around her were whispering and grimacing. She certainly didn't notice that something had been slipped into her drink. Tony Curtis handed her a drink and was knocked out. She woke and found herself naked. Someone took her clothes, and it would appear that they did salacious things to her. The actress didn't have time to process it, as she met Davis's family the next day. This was where things got dark. People heard about Sammy and Kim, and so did Cohn. The ruthless studio boss knew Novak could destroy her career by dating Sammy, and ordered her to end things with him. Such relationships were not approved at the time. The actress got creative and began to organize secret meetings with her lover. Novak began to act like James Bond, with the villain being Cohn and society. Harry set spies on her, which she evaded. Sammy also devised means of meeting Novak. Cohn repeatedly asked the actress to end her relationship with Davis, but as someone who has lost her sense of self due to the brutal studio system in place at the time, Kim resisted, and this almost cost Davis his life. Using his mob connections, Cohn hired wise guy Cohen to harm Davis and his dad unless Davis married in 24 hours. Cohen calmly went to meet Sammy's dad and said, "Listen, I got some terrible news for you. I just got a call from Chicago to hurt Sammy." The extent of the hurt? Cohen was instructed to blind Sammy in his good eye and smash his 2 legs to bits. Fearing for his life and that of his dad, Davis did as he was told, but it broke him. He went to his own marriage drunk and tried to kill his bride and himself. Sammy remarried, but still didn't have a long or happy marriage. Harry Cohn had done it again. He had his actress back, but he wouldn't for long, as he had a fatal heart attack. So finally, Kim was free. However, her freedom came at the expense of her career. Cohn had been the brain behind Novak's career. He was careful to get her the best roles. When he loaned her to Paramount for Vertigo, he only did so to increase his star's CV. Not many actors or actresses had the honour of working with Alfred Hitchcock. Vertigo was a great fit for Novak, as it reflected her life, and she was able to execute her role perfectly. Her acting chops revealed themselves as Alfred gave the actress the artistic freedom to express herself. Although moviegoers didn't appreciate the film, it later gained a cult following, with many people realizing the richness of the film's story afterward. It has even overthrown Citizen Kane as the greatest movie of all time. With Harry's death, Novak had freedom without direction. The actress revealed that the new bosses had no idea what to cast me in other than sexy glamour movies that I just didn't want to be part of. The actress's next series of films, Kiss Me Stupid and The Amorous Adventures of Moll Flanders, were massive flops, so her star power began to wane. Rather than fret over it, she took her dwindling fortunes as a sign that she had to leave Hollywood. She had paid a great price for her success, and its effect was plastered all over her. Kim was lost. The sexy actress returned to art and began to paint. The painting helped her deal with her mental health struggles. After she left Hollywood, her mind blacked out the emotional pains she felt due to the trauma she had experienced in building her career. The actress didn't worry too much about this. She had her painting, which helped her deal with her trauma and pain when she lost her husband of 45 years, Robert Malloy. Even if sometimes she feels conflicted about her decision to leave Hollywood, the current peace she's enjoying makes it worth it for her. This is paradise. Hollywood offers money and prestige, but nothing ever compares to that feeling I felt that morning, the actress said the first time she picked up her paintbrushes in readiness to paint. Looking back, the actress has wondered if her life would have been different if she had chosen her scholarship rather than Hollywood. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new here, and if you want to support my work, please visit my Patreon page. These twisted directors never knew where to draw the line in the personal lives of actors. Was Terry Moore's marriage to Howard Hughes a scam? Watch this video.